Presenting Father Maguire, the fat chap in a flat cap. Viewer discretion is advised. Some of what you are about to see may shock you. It may astound you. You may want to see more. Fasten your seatbelts. This could get bumpy. Filmed in Technicolor. Good morning, 'tis I, Father Maguire. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today, not out and about in the car. I have checked with my training school to see if it's alright, and they have said yes it is. So I'm going to be doing a mock HGV theory test today. It gives people a bit of an insight in what's going to happen when you actually go and do the real thing. I haven't done any studying for a couple of weeks. I might pass, I might fail. I'm going to get some wrong. I won't know the answers to some questions. But I only sent my licence off 2 weeks ago today. So I've got probably, judging by what people have said recently, it takes probably 8 weeks to get it back. So I've got another 6 weeks of being able to revise, and this will just give me a good idea of where I'm at with my knowledge on the theory test. And of course, it will help you as well. You might be doubting yourself or thinking, what are the questions going to be like? What are they based on? So there's 100 questions. You've got to get 85 right out of 100. It sounds like quite a lot. A lot of them are common sense, and some of them you'll have to do a bit of revision for, which is going to be the same. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So I'm at this page here. We're going to do a mock test. I'm just going to do the theory test. I'm not going to do the hazard perception. I'll do the hazard perception in a separate video. So we're going to be here a while. It's 100 questions. So let's get cracking. Right. What should you do before leaving your vehicle parked on a public road? Remove your tachograph chart. Not really. Adjust the mirrors. Not really. Put the gear lever into reverse. Switch off the engine. See, common sense, you switch off the engine, don't you? What should you consider having on your vehicle to combat theft? Air horns, that's not really going to help. Roof markings, that will help, because then the police, choppers will be able to see them. Diff lock, not really. Tinted windows, no, it's roof markings. You might not know that one. That one comes up in your study material for this. You need to stop and get out of your vehicle. When should you use the parking brake? After the air pressure is dropped. Whenever you leave the vehicle. Yeah, it's that one. After the service brake has been released. Only if you park on a gradient. It's whenever you leave the vehicle you're going to put the parking brake on, aren't you? What's the maximum fine for driving without insurance? Not sure. I'm really not sure, but it's 2,000 for driving with. It's 2,000 for if you're found to have an illegal immigrant on your truck, each person. I'm going to put unlimited because it's strange why it's there. 1,000 seems a bit low, considering especially if the risk that you're putting people under. 5,000, it does seem about right, but I'm going to put unlimited because I've got a feeling it probably is. How many copies of the CMR consignment note are required? Well, I know that there's four copies of the CMR consignment note to go to different people. Again, I know that through the study material. What's the current fine for each person illegally carried into the UK? it's £2,000 for each person. Definitely. What's the first thing you should check before moving to the right? Behind and over your left shoulder? Definitely not. Behind and over your right shoulder? Definitely not, because doing that in a lorry is not really going to help you all that much. You've got to be doing that. So it's the offside mirror. Just seeing if there's anything in that lane. Near side mirror is near the curb. Offside mirror is off the curb. This side, basically. What should you do before moving off? Just use the offside mirror and move away quickly. Extend your right arm out the window. Well, we're not, we don't do arm signals anymore, really. Signal right with indicator and arm together. It's use your mirrors and look behind. Pretty sure. You're driving a long vehicle. What should you be especially careful of before turning left on a main road? You're driving a long vehicle. What should you be especially careful of before turning left onto a main road? Vehicles directly behind you. Pedestrians on the opposite curb. Cyclists. Got to be cyclists, hasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. You're waiting to turn right in this lorry, arrowed, this one. What danger should be most aware of? The hazard line, the road surface, the giveaway lines, the motorcyclist. The motorcyclist is itching to get past you. I mean, the pedestrians walking across, you'd have, obviously now in the law, you'd have to wait until he's gone across before you can turn. What should you do before entering a tunnel? Check your tyre pressures, change to a lower gear. I got this one wrong on the last mock test I did, and I don't know why, but it's tune your radio to a local channel. I'll have to look why that is, but that's basically what it is. Your vehicle breaks down on a motorway. What should you do if you can't get it fully onto the hard shoulder? Call for help using the nearest emergency telephone. Yeah. Place a warning triangle in the lane behind you. That's just dangerous, really. Stand at the edge of the carriageway to warn others dangerous. Wear a bright jacket and stand in the lane behind your vehicle. Yeah. It's call for help using the nearest emergency telephone. The area around an incident is safe. What's the best way to help an injured person? Give them a drink? Nope. Give them something to eat? Nope. Keep them in the vehicle? Yes. Get them out of the vehicle. Keep them in the vehicle. You don't want to move them. At an incident, you suspect a casualty has back injuries. What's the best way to help them? Raise their legs. Offer them a cigarette. Leave them where they are. Yeah, leave them where they are. Especially if they've got back injuries. Offer them a drink now. Leave them where they are. You arrive at the scene of an incident. How should you deal with someone who is hysterical? Restrain them physically? Definitely not. Let them wander off to calm down? Definitely not. Talk to them quietly and firmly? Yes. Shout loudly to get their attention? No. Talk to them quietly and firmly. Where should you stand when using a motorway emergency telephone? Facing the oncoming traffic? Definitely. In front of the barrier, looking towards the grass verge with your back to it, facing the oncoming traffic. You'd be a bloody idiot if you stood there with your back towards it and didn't see what were coming. You have to drive onto a muddy building site. Why should you switch on your diff lock? To make your steering lighter? No. To increase your engine power? No. To improve your fuel consumption? No. To make the wheels less likely to spin? Yes. What colour is the auxiliary line on a 3-line braking system? It's blue. Again, something you'll learn in your material. You're about to drive a vehicle fitted with air-assisted hydraulic brakes. Why might the brake pedal feel hard when you press it? The brake fluid reservoir is empty. pedal movement needs adjusting. The vacuum pump isn't working. The brakes are locked on fully. The brake fluid reservoir is empty. To me, that would be, you'd be able to push the pedal all the way in with no resistance because there's no fluid to build it up. The pedal movement needs adjusting, very unlikely. The vacuum pump isn't working. Yeah. The brakes are locked on fully. I think the vacuum pump isn't working. When are exhaust brakes most efficient? At low engine speed while in high gears, while travelling at a constant speed on a motorway, at high engine speeds while in low gears, during stop town work. I'm not sure about the answer to that. I'm gonna put, I'm not sure. I think it's high engine speed. I'm going to put at low engine speed while in high gears. It's either that one or high engine speed while in low gears. I'm not sure about that one, honestly. You're stationary. The brake air pressure warning light comes on. Why should you keep the parking brake on? Because it will cause the air pressure to rise, because the service brake may not stop you. Yeah, that's true. Service brake might not stop you. Definitely. Which coloured band on the rev counter makes the best use of engine braking? Again, I got this one wrong before, and I know that the answer is blue. This bit here makes the best use of engine braking. Your vehicle is fully loaded. Where should you be braking when dealing with bends? When driving in a straight line. As you start to turn the wheel when halfway around a bend, as close to the bend as possible. It's when driving in a straight line and coast round, really. What colour are the markings on the rear of lorries over 7.5 tonnes maximum authorised mass? I think it's red and yellow. Pretty sure it's red and yellow. Again, something you learn in your material. You're driving a large vehicle on a narrow road with passing places. What will you need to be most aware of? Its length, its roof height, its weight. It's going to be its length, isn't it? Make sure you fit into passing places. Yeah. What should be your main concern as you approach this sign? Well, it's a humpback bridge, so it's going to be your vehicle's length, because you've got a risk of grounding there. Who must you tell when your vehicle collides with a bridge? Fire service, no. Your local garage, no. The police, no. The local authority. If it's a railway bridge, it's the railway authority, but if it's a normal bridge, it'll be the police, I'm sure. Where can you park large vehicles at night without needing to use parking lights? In off-road parking area. On a road with a 20 mile an hour, at least 10 metres away from any junction in most laybys. Where can you park large vehicles at night without needing to use parking lights? Most laybys, you don't see lorries in laybys with lights on, do you, really, when they're, at night? In an off-road parking area. Yeah. I'm going to stick with laybys. You're scheduled to make a delivery. You arrive at your destination during the morning rush hour. The road is edged with double red lines. What do they mean? Use only within, unload only within a white box area. Got this wrong again. Delay your delivery until after the rush hour, limit your stop. So it's white box area. That's what double red lines mean. You're driving a large vehicle in a straight line. When is it most stable? During gentle braking, during harsh acceleration, harsh braking, gentle acceleration. Again, I got this one wrong. I said gentle braking, it's gentle acceleration. Which fuel provides a reduction in exhaust emissions harmful to human health? High sulfur diesel, red diesel, low sulfur diesel, blue diesel. I'm going to go with low sulfur diesel. I don't know. No idea. What's blue diesel? Never even heard of blue diesel. Could be that. High sulfur doesn't sound good. Low sulfur, there's still sulfur, but it's lower than high. So I'm going to go for low sulfur. It could be blue though. I've no idea what blue diesel is. What does road-friendly suspension help to reduce? Damage to the road surface, damage to level crossings, damage to overhead cables, damage to riverbanks. Well, it's going to be damage to the road surface, isn't it? Because the others are a bit too niche. What must you have before you can leave a lorry weighing more than 7.5 tons unattended on a verge? Police permission, a loading permit, the owner's permission, a warning triangle. What must you have before you can leave a lorry weighing more than 7.5 tons unattended on a verge? Police permission? Don't know. What must you do when you park a lorry weighing more than 7.5 tons on a verge for essential loading? Display an orange badge, sign the collection note, make sure the lorry is always attended. Yeah, make sure the lorry is always attended. Obtain the owner's permission. No, make sure it's attended. What would be affected by a vehicle with faulty suspension? Road surfaces, overhead gantries? No. Tyre pressures? No. Engine performance? What would be affected by? Yeah, well, we answered the question with good suspension. It helps road surfaces, so faulty suspension would damage it, wouldn't it? Planning your route before starting a journey is a good idea. Why should you also plan an alternative route? It may be more scenic. No. Your original route may be blocked. True. You may get held up by a tractor. There's always that chance no matter where you go. Your maps may have different scales. That's irrelevant. Your original route may be blocked. True. What makes the pictured vehicle environmentally friendly? It uses unleaded fuel. It's electric for a start. It uses solar power. Nope. It uses electricity. Not really environmentally friendly, but it's better than using diesel. What should you do if you've lost the filler cap for your diesel tank? Push your rag into the filler pipe. No, that is something I'd do. Only fill the tank half full. Drive slowly back to your depot. Get a replacement before driving. I would think, the legal thing is get a replacement before driving. Your lorry has a crane fitted. You're loading very heavy items. What should you do when you feel that the ropes or straps may break? Tie two straps together. Continue loading carefully. Reposition the load. Use chains and tensioners. Yeah. I'd use chains and tensioners, maybe. They do carry heavier items than straps do. I know they do. Could be reposition load, but it doesn't really state that there's a problem with the load. They're just saying it's very heavy, and chains can hold more weight. Which vehicle is most likely to be affected by vehicle bounce? A long wheelbase empty vehicle, a short wheelbase empty vehicle. Yeah. A long wheelbase, it's not going to be laden vehicles for a start. It'll be a short wheelbase empty vehicle. I think. Yeah. When using 3 sheets to cover your load, what is the correct overlap? I think it's A. Yeah, it's A. So the wind goes over the top and doesn't lift either of these 2 sheets up and goes over that way and down. I think it's A. What will you need to transport livestock on journeys of less than 65 kilometres? Membership of the RSPCA? No. The ability to drive abroad? Why? Practical experience in the care of animals? No driving. Yeah, it's going to be in the care of animals, isn't it? Who must you inform if the load on your trailer hits a railway bridge? The Railway Authority. Definitely. Highways England DVLA local. Yeah, it's the Railways Authority. You're going to drive an articulated lorry with an ISO container on the trailer. How should the container be secured to the trailer? Container must be secured by ropes. Nope. Container must be held up against the headboard. Nope. The container must be sealed. Container must be secured using the locking levers. Well, that makes the most sense. You would think it would be sealed anyway, wouldn't you? So I think container must be secured using the locking levers, because otherwise it's not going to be held down to the trailer by anything. You're loading a curtain-sided vehicle. What are the curtains for? To reduce noise, to improve visibility, restraint, protection from the weather. It's pretty much protection from the weather, judging by the answers there. Not really, you don't really have the curtains there to restrain the goods because you'd strap them down anyway. What should you do when you're working on a vehicle platform? Make sure you can jump down. Work in stockinged feet. Walk forward near the edges. Walk backwards near the edges. What should you do when you're working on a vehicle platform? Make sure you can jump down. Definitely not. Work in stockinged feet. I think it's going to be walk backwards near the edges. But what the hell is stockinged feet? I'm going to do backwards near the edges because I don't even know what that is. I can only think that they're like webbing of some sort, like actual stockings. But I don't think that'll help. I think you're more likely to be slippy. I could be wrong. I'm going to put walk backwards near the edges. Yeah. No? Oof, I don't know. Walk backwards near the edges. Because I'm thinking it's not backwards actually, is it? It's going to be forwards near the edges, surely. Or this stockinged feet. I don't know that one. You're often involved in the carrying of high value goods. What security measures can you adopt? Always discuss details of your load? No. Keep your journeys to a strict routine? No. Give lifts to anyone for added security? No. Vary your routes and rest stops? Yes. You're driving a lorry on a motorway and you start to feel drowsy. What should you do when there are no service areas or exits for some distance? Increase your speed to get to the next service area sooner. No. Open the window and turn down the heating. That's true. Stop on the hard shoulder and rest. Definitely. No. No. You're driving a lorry on a motorway and you start to feel drowsy. What should you do when there are no service areas or exits for some distance? Open the window and turn down the heating. Yeah, because you're not allowed to stop on the hard shoulder just to rest. Yeah. What must you do when driving under the rules for domestic driver's hours? Keep a written record of driving time only. Bear with me. Right, sorry about that, folks. You'll probably notice the time has changed. I've just had a visit I've had a problem with my heating system anyway. You don't need to know that, so let's carry on. What must you do when driving under the rules for domestic drivers' hours? Keep a written record of driving time only. Keep a written record of hours worked. Always use a vehicle fitted with a tachograph. Only record any driving off public roads. When driving under the rules for domestic drivers' hours. I don't know about that one. What must you do when driving under the rules for domestic drivers' hours? You've got to keep a record. I think it's probably driving time only, but I'm going to put a record of hours worked. Always use a vehicle fitted with a tachograph. Well, that goes to say, really, doesn't it? But I've got a feeling it's keep a written record. I don't know why. Normally, I would put always use a vehicle fitted with a tachograph. It makes sense. You're driving a lorry at night. What can you do to help yourself stay alert? Eat a heavy meal before setting off? No. Drive faster to get to your destination sooner? No. Keep the cab warm and comfortable? Not really. Keep plenty of cool, fresh air moving through the cab? Yep. Why should you carry spare tachograph charts? For recording extra loading duties and overtime. To replace the original chart if it gets dirty. To record when you've been in a traffic delay. As a defence against a speeding prosecution, it will be to replace the original chart if it gets dirty. Which of the following is good practice in keeping your lorry and its load safe? Parking in a well-lit lorry park. That's true. Showing your papers to anyone who stops you? Not really. Parking in a quiet area out of sight? Not really. Making sure the back doors are accessible. It'll be a well-lit lorry park, won't it? What should you do if you have to leave your vehicle unattended for a very short time? Leave a note in the window explaining you'll be back soon. Yeah, that'll work. Keep the engine running but lock the doors. No. Secure the vehicle and lock the doors. Yes. Leave the keys available in case of obstruction. Yeah, right. What should you do if you're following a learner driver who stalls at a junction? Immediately steer around them and drive on? No. Start to rev your engine if they take too long to restart? No. Stay very close behind and flash your headlights. That's not going to help. And be patient as you expect them to make mistakes. That is true. Same as me doing this. You're at a road junction turning into a minor road. What should you do if there are pedestrians crossing the minor road? Carry on. The pedestrians should give way to you. Not a chance. Give way to the pedestrians who are already crossing? Yes. Sound your horn? Nope. Stop and wave? Nope. It's give way. What should you do just before turning right from a main road into a side road? Cancel your right turn signal? No. Select first gear. Stop and set the handbrake. Check for traffic passing on your right. There's always one dickhead who overtakes you when you're turning right. I've been there myself. What should you do if the vehicle ahead is being driven by a learner? Drive up close behind, put your headlights on full beam, sound your horn and overtake, keep calm and be patient. Keep calm and be patient, obviously. Which road users are especially at risk at a road junction? Car drivers, motorcyclists, bus drivers. Well, it's going to be motorcyclists because they're the most at risk out of that list. You know, car, bus, lorry, motorcycle. Goes to say it's motorcycle. A group of horse riders comes towards you. What should you do if the leading rider's horse becomes nervous of your presence? Brake gently to a stop until they've passed. Increase speed to pass the riders. Continue driving, keeping well to the left. Brake quickly to a stop. Apply the parking brake. I would say it's brake gently to stop until they've passed. Why are motorcyclists advised to wear bright clothing? The colours are popular. To help other road users to see them. They must do so by law. It helps to keep them cool in the summer. I would think it's going to be to help other road users to see them. You're driving on a dual carriageway. What type of vehicle must use a flashing amber beacon on this road? A mobility scooter, an ambulance, a fire engine, a doctor's car on call. Flashing amber beacon. That's a very odd question. Amber? No idea. I'm going to put a doctor's car on call. I know a doctor's car's green. Ambulance are blue lights. Fire engine are blue lights. A mobility scooter shouldn't be on a dual carriageway. Flashing amber beacon. I'll be interested to see what the answer is to that. What should you check before you drive off a muddy building site onto the road? The steering lock is engaged. The twist lock is disengaged. The diff lock is engaged. The diff lock is disengaged. You would normally put a diff lock on if you're going onto a building site, so you'd make sure it was disengaged when you leave one. Excuse me. Your vehicle suffers a tyre blowout. How could this create a hazard for other road users? Scattered debris, yeah, possibility. Suspension failure, axle damage, skid marks. Scattered debris, I would think, because tyres can blow, proper blow, and it says blowout, so chances are there's going to be rubber and crap on the road. I mean, skid marks, I don't know. Suspension failure, no, I'm going to stick with gear scattered debris. When should your lorry coupling system, the fifth wheel, be checked and lubricated? Regularly, yearly, only prior to a MOT test, every 6 months. I'm going to go yearly, checked and lubricated. Could be 6 months. I'm going to stick with a year. How often should the components of the fifth wheel coupling be inspected? Every three. For Christ, I don't know the answer to this. I really don't know. I'll go with 6,000 miles. It doesn't seem a lot. In fact, now I'll go with 12. I'll go with 12. I really don't know the answer to that. I should learn that. I'll obviously know if I get it wrong. You've had to change your wheel on your vehicle. When should the wheel nuts be checked again? When they're cold, at the next service interval, shortly afterwards. Yep, when they're hot, shortly afterwards. What proportion of the width of a tyre must have at least the legal minimum tread? 3/4 is the answer for that. What should you do if the brake pedal becomes hard to press? Park and phone for help. Continue to drive, pump the brake pedal continuously, drain the air tanks, and then continue. I've seen it mentioned before. I think it's drain the air tanks and then continue. I've seen it mentioned before about manually draining air tanks. Before starting a journey, you want to check your brake system warning lights, but what can you do when these aren't operated by the ignition switch? You want to check your brake system warning lights. What can you do when these aren't operated by the ignition switch? Check them at the end of your journey. No. Get someone behind you to check your brake lights. Pump the brake pedal a number of times. Check for a switch on the dashboard. Look for a check switch on the dashboard. I've never heard of a check switch, so it's maybe that, I don't know. You're travelling on a motorway. A red cross is displayed on the gantry signals above the hard shoulder, and mandatory speed limits are shown above all other lanes. What does the red cross mean? The hard shoulder has a speed limit of 50. Well, obviously not. The hard shoulder can be used as a normal running lane. No. The hard shoulder can be used as a rest area. No. The hard shoulder is for emergency or breakdown use only. I think it's that. Emergency or breakdown use only. Where would you find these flashing red lights? At a school crossing, zebra crossing, level crossing. It's a level crossing. Pelican crossing. It's trains, isn't it? You're driving on a motorway and there's no traffic ahead. You see this sign. Which lane should you use? The right-hand lane, the middle lane, the left-hand lane, the hard shoulder. Well, it's obviously telling you to come out of the right-hand lane, so I would say the left-hand lane because there's no traffic. You shouldn't be in the middle lane hogging it like that. You're driving a lorry weighing more than 7.5 tons on a motorway. What does this sign mean? National speed limit, which is 60. What does this marker count down to? Concealed level crossing, a motorway slip road, a roadside rest area, a primary road junction. I don't know. Concealed level crossing. How can you conceal a level crossing? Round a corner or something, maybe. I'm going to do the level crossing because I honestly don't know about that. Roadside rest area, no. Primary road junction, no. Motorway slip road, don't remember seeing them. But what's the purpose of green and yellow fluorescent studs on a motorway? They mark the lanes in a contraflow system. They separate the edge of the hard shoulder from the grass verge. They mark access points for emergency services. They separate the slip road from the motorway. Green and yellow. I have no idea. I'm going to put to mark the lanes in a contraflow system. I really don't know. You're on a smart motorway. What do the speed limit signs indicate? Speed limit on the sign is advisory. Speed limit is always 30. Speed limit on the sign must be obeyed. Yeah, must be obeyed. National speed limit will always apply, not necessarily. What does it mean when there are double red lines running along the edge of a road? It's limited loading, isn't it? Bush route, short-term parking, no stopping. No, it's going to be no. Is it going to be no stopping because you've got to park in a white box area where double red lines are? So I would think it's the same as double yellow lines. Yeah. You've stopped for an elderly pedestrian who's slowly crossing the road. What should you do if traffic behind you is being held up? Steer slowly around them to ease the build-up of traffic? No. Edge forward slowly and make them hurry? No. Get out of your vehicle and wave them across? No. Stay where you are and allow them to cross in their own time? Yes. What does the flashing amber light mean at a pelican crossing? Give way to pedestrians waiting to cross. Stop if you can do so safely. Stop and wait for the green light. Give way to pedestrians always on the crossing. I'm going to give way again. I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know. Give way to pedestrians waiting to cross, I would say. No, give way to pedestrians already on the crossing. You've been taking medicine for a few days and it's made you feel drowsy. Today you feel better, but you still need to take the medicine. When should you drive? Only after checking with your doctor. Only at night on quiet roads. Only if someone goes with you. Only if your journey is necessary. Yeah, it's only after checking with your doctor, I'm sure. You're driving a bus in a busy town. A driver pulls out in front of you and you have to brake hard. What should you do? Overtake as quickly as possible. Flash your lights to show your annoyance. Stay calm and accept the error. Sound your horn and speed up. Common sense. Stay calm and accept the error. What effect will using a mobile phone have on your driving? Your attention will be diverted from the road. That's true. Your vehicle will be harder to steer. Your field of vision will be reduced. Your vehicle's electric. It's your attention will be diverted from the road, isn't it? Yeah. Oh. What should you do if you're signalled to stop by a police officer in a patrol car? Stop immediately wherever you are. Brake harshly to a stop. Drive on until you reach a side road. Stop on the left as soon as it's safe. Yeah, that's fairly obvious, isn't it? When can you drive without wearing a seatbelt? When the seatbelt is too large for your use. When you hold a medical exemption certificate. When you're driving on a motorway. When the speed limit is when you hold a medical exemption certificate. You're driving on the motorway and want to use your mobile phone. What should you do before using it? Move into the left-hand lane. Stop on the hard shoulder. Stop in a safe place when you can. Reduce your speed. It's stop in a safe place, obviously. What should you do if you lose your way in heavy traffic? Drive on until you find a safe place to stop. Shout to other drivers twice the way. Stop at traffic lights and ask pedestrians. Check a map as you keep moving with the traffic. It's drive on until you find a safe place to stop. What should you do when you've been driving for a long time and are fighting sleep? Open a window, stop and rest, play loud music, stretch your arms. Yeah, I would stop and rest. Opening a window will help, but yeah, stop and rest. Which road users are most likely to be affected by the turbulence created by large vehicles travelling at speed? Drivers of emergency vehicles, drivers towing caravans, drivers of low loaders, drivers of tankers. I would think drivers towing caravans. Yeah, because they do move about a bit. Which lane should you use when you're driving on a clear motorway at the speed limit for your vehicle? The left-hand lane. You're driving a lorry from a wet construction site onto a motorway. Why must you take extra precautions before leaving the site? Your lorry spray suppression equipment will be inoperative. It's an offence to emerge from a work site onto a motorway. Your view from the cab will be obscured by plant machinery. It's an offence to deposit mud on a road. Same as a construction site anyway. Don't come off and put mud on the road, otherwise you'll be in the shit. You're driving in wet weather. What effect will faulty spray suppression equipment have on other drivers? They'll be able to overtake more easily. They'll need to use intermittent wipers. Their vision will be increased. Their vision will be reduced. It's their vision is going to be reduced because there'll be more spray. What problem may you have when driving at night? It's more difficult to keep to speed limits. You'll have reduced visibility, that's true. There'll be an increase in traffic, unlikely. It takes longer to stop, I say it's reduced visibility. What must you be certain of before you overtake at night? You're outside a built-up area, you can see well ahead, the road's well lit, there's an overtaking lane. I would think you can see well ahead. You should be certain of before you overtake. Yeah. It could be the road's well lit, but if it's well lit, that normally means there's a a sort of urban town speed limit going on. You're driving in fog. One, should high intensity rear fog lights be used when visibility? Yeah, that's
When
it.
visibility falls below 100
When visibility
meters,
falls below 100
328
meters.
feet.
When should you check your vehicle's spray suppression equipment? Only when you'll be using a motorway. Only as part of a pre-winter check. It's before setting out on every journey. Once per year before the MOT. Spray suppression is important. When may you use your vehicle's hazard warning lights while it's moving? When you need to reverse for some distance. When one of your lights has failed. When you're on a motorway and traffic ahead suddenly. Yeah, that's it. When you're on a motorway and traffic ahead slows suddenly. What's a buffer lane? A lane to park in until the wind drops. A safety lane for vehicles blown off course. The only lane to be used in high winds. A lane for overtaking safely. I thought a buffer lane was a lane that is used sort of like for vehicles to overtake it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's a lane for overtaking safely. Why are brushes fitted to this vehicle's wheel arch? The fuck? To stop snow building up behind the wheel. To reduce spray on wet roads. To remove objects from the tyre tread. To clear mud from the tyres on building sites. I don't know. No idea. Maybe to reduce spray. I think, maybe. Pure guess. You're driving a large vehicle in gusty conditions. Which vehicle is most likely to be affected by buffeting when you overtake it? Flatbed lorry, no. A loaded tanker, no. A car, no. A motorcycle, yes. You're driving a lorry towards a high bridge on a windy day. What should you expect? Driving a lorry towards a high bridge on a windy day. What should you expect? Change weight limits, low lane closures. No. No restrictions for lorries. No. Minimum speed limits. Yeah, I would think it's minimum speed limits. Right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wrong. What do we get wrong? When are exhaust brakes most efficient? I said it was that one or the other, didn't I? I went high engine speed, it's low engine speed while in high gears. Fair enough. Where can you park large vehicles at night? I was going to put that one as well. You don't need parking lights in most laybys. That's crazy. But anyway, in an off-road parking area, yeah, fair enough. You're driving on a dual carriageway. What type of vehicle must use a flashing amber beacon? A mobility scooter? They're allowed on dual carriageways? What? That's scary. When should your lorry coupling be checked and lubricated? Oh, regularly. Okay, fair enough. Not yearly. How often should the components? Bugger me. I had it right the first time. 6,000 miles. Okay. What should you do if the brake pedal becomes hard to press? I put drain the tanks, park and phone for help. Okay. Fair enough. What is a buffer lane? A safety lane for vehicles blown off course. Okay. Oh, it's a crawler lane I'm thinking of, isn't it? Of course it is. You're driving a lorry towards a bridge on a windy day. What should you expect lane closures? 92, folks. I got 92%. That's not bad, is it, really? It's not bad at all. Considering I haven't done any revision for a couple of weeks, I don't think that's too bad at all. Well, there you go. That's what a theory test is on this site, driving test success anytime. They do have a lot of information on here that you can read through. For the case studies one as well, I've actually ended up asking my dad to print off a load of it because I can't sit here all the time and study because it just does my eyes in. So I'd prefer to sit back in my comfy chair back there with it in my hand in paper. So anyway, that's what's involved. I mean, obviously we had plenty of time left. I think we had an hour left. If I hadn't been interrupted for a few minutes by the repair guy as well. So yeah, that's it. I mean, a lot of common sense. The case studies one, if you're quite happy that you're going to pass the theory test, which I'm fairly confident I would pass that, I'm fairly confident I'll pass the hazard perception test. The case study one is one that concerns me a bit. So I've been doing a lot of studying on that because it's a lot of information that they want you to know to get the 50 questions right, really. So next, if you like the video, don't forget to please do hit the subscribe button because next one that I'll be doing will be the hazard perception test to see how we get on with that. And then I'll do the case studies test, which is the CPC Module 2. This is Module 1. And we'll get that done as well so you can see what that's all about on this platform. So thanks very much for spending time with me today and watching me doing this test. If you've got any questions or any comments, please do make a comment in the box below. I'd appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I'd appreciate that as well. And subscribe, like I said, if you don't already. I would really like that. I'm trying to grow the channel, you know, because I'll be out vlogging with some of the other big boys when I've actually, you know, got through my test and driving lorries. So thank you very much for being here, folks. It is much appreciated. I'll be back next time with the hazard perception test video to show you what that's like. So take care for now. Father Maguire out. Be good.